Talk about what just happened here on this program. We talked to Andrew Abood, who used to be on the Drew Peterson defense team with you. You guys were in this studio together, I'd say about 10, 11 months ago.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
And everybody was, everybody all fat and happy on the team. Everybody was good. Everybody was good.
That's when I used to be able to call in on the Super Celebrity Hotline.
That's right. Well, you're on the Super Celebrity Hotline right now, Joel. Don't worry about it. And I was very concerned about his status. And so we were interested in why Mr. Abood left the case, and we talked to him just a few minutes ago. And he was, as attorneys tend to be, Joel, a little elliptical about the issues, sort of talking around the issue as opposed to going directly to it. But he had, more than on one occasion in the conversation, talked about preparation and talked about being prepared, especially in the hearsay trial that you guys had. Correct. It was like 6-8 weeks ago, whenever that was. And so I couldn't let him get away without asking him this question. You're leaving us with the impression that Mr. Brodsky is not as skilled as he needs, in your opinion, not as skilled as he needs to be. Is that the impression you want to leave us with?
I would leave you with the impression that George Leonard is probably one of the best criminal defense lawyers I've ever seen, and that given his ability and skill, and if you ask anybody in Will County, they would probably echo that same thing. I've heard it from a number of people. At least it would have been my take, that he have a major role in the trial.
Okay, now this was the fourth pass at you, basically in this interview.
And it's probably he gave the same answer each time, right?
Well, no, it was a different. But he started. I mean, this wasn't even. I just thought it was. And then there's also CBS's reporting that you had stated. I've not seen this anywhere else, that there were irreconcilable differences on defense strategy.
Absolutely.
I said that to him, and then he said it's irreconcilable differences with Joel Brodsky.
On defense strategy, absolutely.
Now, he said Joel Brodsky, and then I asked him about defense strategy, and then he said no, Joel Brodsky. So did it come down to a personal thing between the two of you?
Oh, no, it's a disagreement over this defense strategy. He wanted to pursue a strategy which I was of the absolute opinion would have resulted in Drew's conviction. I thought he was 180 degrees wrong in how he wanted to present the defense, and we were unable to reconcile that. And I'm lead counsel, so he chose to leave, and that's how that goes. Now, I'm sure that after 2 years being put out of a very major case like this is probably a great disappointment to him. I mean, he did the ethical thing, which is, if you really feel strongly, and you leave. But I'm sure that this great disappointment, having to leave a case of this magnitude, 2 months before trial, is probably a great disappointment, and maybe there's some sour grapes in his attitude. But it was a dispute over defense strategy, and I have no question about. I mean, I win most of my cases. There's no question about. I have no question about my ability. You can ask Joe Lopez or Sad Adams Jr. or Ralph Maziak or Steve Greenberg or Ed Jensen or any of the top defense lawyers in this.
You're going to get a lot of free dinners out of this, Joel.
Joel, it sounds. Any of them, I've worked with all of them. All of them know my ability.
Joel, it just seems like, if you were that far apart, you're saying 180 degrees.
Yes.
How long has it been since you realized you guys were going in such polar opposite directions with defense strategy? Well, this could have been something that just came up.
No, well, it was after the
hearsay?
After the hearsay hearing, because at that point we had to start getting ready for trial. An actual jury trial, the hearsay hearing, for all as important as it was, it wasn't going to end up with a guilt or a guilty or a not guilty. We determine what evidence could or could not come in. So
but that didn't go to your desire, though.
Well, the
hearsay, the decision by the judge in the hearsay was against you.
I mean, I can't even say whether or not the judge has absolutely sealed anything about it. I can't even confirm whether or not.
I can say that though, but it didn't go your way. All right, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm not saying that either.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I know what your gag here is. So go ahead. So here's, I guess the question for me is, Mr. Abood seems to be indicating that he thought George Leonard would be a better lead attorney in this case.
Well, I'm going to say George Leonard is a fine lawyer. There's no question about it. George Leonard.
Did he want George Leonard to be the lead attorney?
No. Drew Peterson chooses who's his lead attorney, and Drew Peterson wants me to be a lead attorney, and that's the end of that. As far as George Leonard goes, George Leonard's a fine lawyer. I mean, there's no question. Out in Will County, his reputation is fantastic. And he has won he's got a lot of juries, a lot of homicides under his belt, and he has a great record out there. I would still welcome George to be on the team. I think that there was certainly less dispute with George than there was with Mr. Abood, who was absolutely adamant in his position and was just unwilling to bend.
But was that position that George Leonard should be the lead attorney?
No, that had nothing to do with it.
Okay, that was not it. So there was something about the strategy. Would you like to share it with us and the prosecution?
Oh, of course.
Why don't you just run that down for us?
In fact, let me send you a CD of our closing argument.
Yes, please do that. We'd like to read that in advance on the air.